Hi guys, how are you guys doing? This missive is coming to you from Geneva in Switzerland. We arrived early this morning and been here all day and tomorrow as well. Going back home, tomorrow's Monday's going back home on Tuesday. So far so good. Only Sunday, so everything's closed. So haven't really been able to see much. Actually didn't venture out. I should have. It just made sense to stay in the hotel and actually get a bit of work done. And then tomorrow when stores are open, I'll combine that, go see the shops, buy a few things, and actually probably have do a bit of sightseeing, find the lake and take a walk depending on the weather. So I just wanted to talk about some of the lessons I've learned in life, just concerning a few things that I thought might actually be of interest to you. And I wanted to start with getting ahead. Funny, because I'm thinking I had this conversation with my husband this morning. We've been doing quite a bit of brainstorming about the direction we want to take, and we're looking into it. It kind of brought to mind a quote my dad used to say quite a bit when we were growing up. My dad used to say to try and get to the top because it's the bottom that's crowded. And I'm sure he didn't invent this quote. It's been said many times by different people in many different ways. But the gist of it is that if you want more breathing room, just make your way to the top. Because it's only a few people that actually have the discipline and the perseverance and the tenacity to keep pushing until they get to the top. So if you want to be one of few, just keep climbing. Keep climbing, go as high up as you can. And this applies whether we're talking about career and we're talking about education, because everybody's fighting for the entry level in every business, in every college application. And if you want to not be in an overcrowded area and you kind of want to set yourself apart, your best bet is to excel, improve, try and do the best that you can so you can set yourself apart and be different from the rest. I mean, life kind of works on differentiation and how you set yourself apart. If you stick with the masses, you might probably be safe, but it's highly unlikely that you will live your best life because you've just kind of settled and hidden in the crowd. And I suppose it's not such a bad thing if that's your highest aspiration. But if you're seeking excellence, applying yourself to the best of your ability, it might be worth the extra effort to actually set yourself apart from the herd and kind of stand out, be different so you can get noticed. All that can come out of it really is good. Now, some of us are quite shy and we kind of don't want to be noticed. There's something to be said of fitting in, yes, but there's also something to be said of setting yourself apart and being different. Well, another lesson Daddy used to teach is about humility, and that it doesn't cost you anything. That it's okay to say you're sorry if you've done something wrong. It's actually mandatory to say please and thank you. These are proper manners that he just thought you actually absolutely require this to get through life, and I have applied them my whole life. My dad taught me forgiveness. I'm quite calm when somebody attacks me verbally. I'm able to immediately disengage and not take it personally. I'm able to actually assess that this is not my problem. That allows me to keep my cool. Chances are I probably will protect myself from that person by not seeing them again or not seeing them for quite a while. I also don't hold grudges, so it's really just for a while, but eventually I'll always get back in touch and we'll carry on where we left off. Whatever I've been through, I choose. I'll know something went wrong. I might remember vaguely what it was, but it loses its sharpness with time. It just becomes a dull memory that doesn't have any place in the current life. So that makes it quite easy to let it go because it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter really. Not to say I'm perfect. I'm sure I've probably stepped on a few toes, and I'm sure I probably will in future because I'm very out of touch sometimes with how people feel. I think most introverts are. We live inside our head, and some of the things we do, we can end up really hurting people that care about us when they reach out, and we're locked up in our head. We forget to reach back out, things like that. I'll probably hurt people too, but I don't hold grudges, and I'm always surprised when somebody does. But you can only improve. You can only do the best that you can, yeah? The third thing that my dad taught me is self-reliance. He was big on self-reliance. From a very young age, I remember Daddy saying, go to school, earn your degree, be sure to be able to survive on yourself. And it's okay if you get married, even if your spouse prefers that you don't work, you always should have a plan B. You should always have a fallback plan. That was his main focus. Whatever happened, that you could be able to spring right back on your feet and carry on. My daddy didn't like suffering. Just the thought that somebody could suffer, somebody would suffer, would break his heart. He just wanted to make sure that his kids were well taken care of and that his kids were well able able to actually survive without him. He wanted us to be independent in the sense that we could build on what he had done and actually make sure that we make something of ourselves and that we teach our children to make something of themselves as well. I would hope that in my life I've honored him. He was loving, blameless. He was, I can only speak to how he was as my daddy, yeah? And I really think I was daddy's little girl. But then at his funeral, we found out that everybody thought they were daddy's little girl. It wasn't just me. Every sibling of mine actually thought they were the special one, and we never discovered this until the funeral, when the first one got up and said I was daddy's girl. The second one, whoa, hang on a second, that was me. I got up, I was like, these people have got it so wrong, because it was definitely me. And then my sister after me was like, are you nuts? I was the one, and so on. And so it was quite a revelation. We'd never noticed that daddy had the ability to make everybody feel special. And then we found out it wasn't just us, the kids, it was everybody, the neighbors, the aunties, uncles, brothers, sisters, everybody felt the same. We actually found out daddy had a special nickname for everybody. Daddy had an endearing name for all of us, his children, for all his siblings, cousins, extended family. Daddy had a name for everybody. That is how special that man was. And he's taught me everything that is dear and near to my heart. And every good in me, I attribute to him. Every good in me. My parents, both my mom and dad, did an amazing job raising a dynasty of children, I should say. They really poured their hearts into it. More than not, they likely succeeded, because we're decent human beings, productive members of the society, and doing our part. And for that, I've got my folks to thank for. I'm grateful that you're watching. For my new subscribers, thank you very much. I appreciate your presence. So I'm probably going to sign off for now. I'm in Switzerland, which is French, so I'll say au revoir, merci beaucoup, and I'll talk to you again soon. I have to Google that actually. Pronunciation. Differentiation. Okay, I probably kind of need to know how to pronounce that. So we're gonna plug you into the dictionary.
Differentiation.